Done right. I'm Dr. Becky, the creator of the Science-Based Plan for Wellness. Each week, I'll be talking about how to have a healthy life through healthy eating, behavioral changes, and physical activity. How can something so simple and fundamental to human existence be so darn complicated? There's a lot of misinformation about wellness and health, and Americans don't know who to believe. Over the next half hour, and for many weeks to come, I'll be dissecting, discussing, chewing up, and spitting out the answers to this quandary so you don't have to work so hard at it. This is not an infomercial. There's no crazy gimmicks, no magical weight loss supplements, no rapid weight loss tricks, or any gimmicks. Just the science and the information and the resources for a healthy lifestyle and healthy eating. First, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My background is unique, so therefore is my perspective, for it will be from a biological, a medical, and a psychological and emotional perspective. Instead of a ladder, I've climbed a bonsai tree. In 1978, I entered the medical field as a nurse's aide. Since then, I've climbed from a nurse, an RN, to a board-certified obesity medicine specialist and an OBGYN. Along the way, I've earned a bachelor's degree in biology, a master's degree in psychology, and a medical degree. Many years ago, I struggled with my weight and ate unhealthily. So I started taking the complex obesity classes necessary to learn how to control my own food intake and also to help patients who were struggling with similar problems. There are a lot of complexities to this disease or to obesity, and this week I'm going to be talking about some really complex issues that most people aren't aware of, such as how sleep affects your overall health. Since I took these complex obesity classes, I've gotten control of my own weight. I have a normal healthy BMI now, and I've been able to maintain this for over 5 years. This is a science-based plan. It's backed by evidence. I will be trying to help you untangle the food industry's ploys that damage or interfere with your ability to eat healthily. Today, we're going to discuss 2 of the 4 meal options. We're going to have a grocery to go combo and a healthy dining out combo. The other 2 options are going to be lickety split and gourmet prepared home. Then we're going to do a physical activity tip. Today's is hit it, and the behavioral tip is getting your Z's on. Don't miss the fact or fact section, where I'll dispel a common myth or reinforce a popular trend. Today's discussion will be on, is food too expensive? Then story time and science section, where I'll share a selected example of some latest research to help you on your journey to health. Okay, fact or fat? Health food is too expensive. There are some foods that are quite pricey, such as avocados and lean meats. But I've chosen a list here that will not break the bank. The first choice is brown rice. I actually took this out of my closet. And this is a long grain, whole grain rice, and it comes out to be about 18 cents per serving. So this is a healthy grain. It's a carbohydrate that takes a while to get broken down in the digestive system, so it's a very healthy choice. And you'll see that I pair this often with a lean meat and some vegetables and a piece of fruit. Next, we're going to do whole grain pasta. 2 weeks ago, Giant had 5 of these boxes on sale for $10. So if you look at this as a $2 box, which they usually run right around there. And this has 56 whole grains per serving. Now, if you remember from before, you're aiming for 45 grams of whole grains for the entire day, or that's about 15 per meal. And you can break it up over the 3 meals, or you can put them all together in one meal, and that's perfectly fine also. So this one, if you divide it out per serving, it's going to come out to about 16 cents per serving. So this is a healthy choice that's relatively inexpensive. Whole grain bread and whole grain pita. One of the whole grain bread options is Nature's Own they make a 12 grain, a 13 grain, and a 14 grain bread. So that's a really healthy choice. The carbohydrates are relatively low, has some protein in it, about 4 to 5 grams of protein per serving. And this is another whole grain option. Now this is a Joseph's brand. This actually has some omega-3s added in, so I chose this one again out of my refrigerator. This doesn't have quite as many whole grains in it. It only has 8 per serving, but it does have those extra omega-3 fatty acids, which have additional health benefits. So this is a good choice, or just another whole grain pita bread. And they're going to come out to about 30 cents a serving. Next, we have potatoes, a russet potato. Usually, we recommend about a half of a potato because that's the serving and the amount of carbohydrates you need to go along with your fruit. And this is going to be about 17 cents per serving. Fresh bag spinach, they're coming out at about 66 cents per 4-cup serving. Rarely are you going to have a 4-cup serving unless you are cooking it up and steaming it and shrinking down the size, but that's still inexpensive. Then we have canned tuna. This is the chunk light tuna. This is the type that has less mercury in it, and this is coming out to be about 42 cents per serving. Again, another great source of protein. It has some healthy fats in it also. It's on the American Heart Association diet. Canned or jarred marinara sauce. This is Newman's Own. It's a saccaroni. Again, low in sugars. It's a healthy option, and it's coming out at about 28 cents per serving. You can use a store brand egg substitute. Actually, eggs themselves aren't that expensive, but the store-bought substitutes are going to be even less expensive, and they're coming in around 20-25 cents per serving. Frozen edamame are about 50 cents a serving, and then dry lentils and other beans are very good choices. So is healthy food more expensive? Yes, but if you buy things in bulk or you get them on sale and stock up on them, you can get the price down. We all have priorities, and if you can look at it that the little bit healthier food is a little bit more expensive, but you're making an investment in your health, you'll find that the cost in the long run will be actually less. So there are plenty of ways to save: buy seasonal, buy bulk, buy on sale. So are healthy foods too expensive? More expensive in some situations, but armed with this information, you should have a little. This should be a little more affordable. Recipe for health. We live in a fast-paced society, but your health can still be a priority. Every now and then, you need a meal to be ready stat. That's why on my plan you have the grocery to go combo. Combo because rarely will you have an entree that has all the necessary nutrients to keep you feeling full and energized from one meal to the next. Today we're going to have a saffron road combo. Now, this is chicken biryani, and it has tender chunks of chicken baked in basmati rice, and has onions. And after 3 minutes of the cooking in the microwave, you're going to add about a half a can of this Swanson's chicken breast. That's going to be about 2.5 ounces of chicken. And then you're going to add 4 almonds, and this is a no-calorie drink to go along with it. Now you may say, Dr. Becky, do we really need that 2 ounces of chicken? Does it really make that much difference? And yes, it does. When we look at our studies on the amount of protein that's necessary to stop your hunger, help you to feel full, and to help you feel content, 30 grams is a number that's been shown time and time again. So whenever I put the combos together, I always try to get 30 grams of protein so that you will feel full and satisfied by the end of your meal and between meals. This is actually a delicious meal. I had it last week. Almost as tasty as in an authentic Indian restaurant. None of our meals will have trans fats or high fructose corn syrup. The meal combo, part of the American Diabetic Diet, check. American Heart Association diet, check. The Mediterranean diet, yes and no. So it has the olive oil. The rice isn't the whole grain, so that the Mediterranean diet does call for a whole grain meal. And then health done right, you better believe it. Move more, physical activity. So HIIT, or high intensity interval training, is a form of exercise that's become a little more popular lately. You may have heard the term thrown around. Basically is a shorter, more challenging workout. If you make it too challenging, you get a little bit too anxious and you're less likely to repeat the activity. So you have to kind of find your sweet spot. But this HIIT, or high intensity interval training, has been studied in numerous ways now, and research shows that it decreases fat more than other forms of exercise, and specifically the belly fat or the visceral fat, which we've discussed in prior shows. This is the type of fat that you want to shrink because it's what's responsible for diabetes, prediabetes, heart disease, and high blood pressure and high cholesterol. They did a study where they looked at individuals who already had type 2 diabetes, and they put one group in a HIIT workout and they put the other group in a workout with slow, gentle walking. In both groups, they burned the same amount of calories, but in the HIIT group, they actually lost more weight and they lost more visceral or belly fat, and they had better glucose control and less insulin and lower insulin levels. Research out of North Carolina's Human Performance Laboratory showed that after 45 minutes of a HIIT workout, the metabolic rate stayed up longer, or the afterburn was longer than for a typical workout that burned the same amount of calories. So if you can get your workout to a higher level, and we use the term the VO2 max, which just means at a high level, you're going to burn more belly fat, and for most of us, that's one of our goals. So how do you do this HIIT? You can do this high-intensity interval training with any exercise. You can do it with rowing, bicycling, running, step, or elliptical machine. What you want to do is first of all, you still want your warm up and your cool down. You want 5 minutes of warm up and 5 minutes of a cool down, and then the high intensity exercise in between. So if you're going to run, you do 5 minutes of jogging, then you sprint or run as fast as you can for 30 seconds to 2 minutes till you can hardly catch your breath. And then you slow down. You don't walk, but you slow down to a slow jog. take some deep breaths. You bring your heart rate back down for about the same amount of time, 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Then you repeat. And you repeat this over and over again until your predetermined time, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then you add the 5-minute jog at the end. So this is a variety that you can add to the diversity of your workout regimen. You can do it every single time, but one time maybe you can do HIIT, next time you can do weight training, and the next time you can do just a standard elliptical or step machine workout. So this allows you to have a diversity so that you can do exercise for a lifetime, which is what our goal here is for us to incorporate activities into our daily life that we can do and maintain for a lifetime. So go hit it. Behavioral tip number 6. Many Americans struggle with sleeping. Getting a good night of Z's is very frustrating and challenging for those who have insomnia. There's not only sleeplessness in Seattle, but 75% of Americans report frequent problems with sleep. Overnight, when we sleep, we fast. Most people don't realize that the majority of fat burning occurs while we sleep. And it's in the REM sleep, or the rapid eye movement, deep sleep, that we burn the most amount of calories and the most amount of fat. So it's important for you to get into that sleep stage as often as you can during the night. Insomnia also leads to less energy being burned during the day. So if you don't sleep well at night, people report the next day that they have less energy level and they have less physical activity. Plus, the time while you're up not sleeping, you're usually consuming more calories. We wake up, 3 different studies have been done that show that if you sleep less than 5.5 hours a night, you consume more calories and more carbohydrates the next day. So they did a study where they looked at volunteers, and they slept less than 5.5 hours a night. The following day, they ate 1,000 more calories in the form of carbohydrates, candy, cookies, and cake. If those individuals slept less than 5.5 2 nights in a row, they actually preferred the sweets over fresh fruits and vegetables and dairy. So when you don't sleep well, your hunger hormones are affected. So our appetite goes up and the feeling of fullness actually goes down. So the lack of sleep actually stimulates us to eat more, and then we also exercise less. So when you don't eat well, you sleep worse. When you sleep poorly, you don't eat as well. So it becomes a vicious cycle. We also know the opposite to be true. If you start to sleep better, you will eat better and you'll sleep better, and you can reverse this cycle. When you look at sleep apnea or obstructive sleep apnea, we know that it just requires about a 10% weight loss to get people to be able to sleep better. So go get your Z's on. The goal is about 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night. If you sleep less than that, if you sleep less than that or more than that, 9 or more, you're more likely to have a higher weight. Instead of a science project this week, I've chosen to present some information that was presented to Congress. So in April of 2017, a bipartisan effort in the House and the Senate passed the To Treat and Reduce the Obesity Act of 2017. And they did this because they recognize that obesity is a serious problem in this country. We have 90 million people, 35% of adults and 17% of children in this obese category. Obesity in America has steadily risen since 1960, and it's one of the greatest public health concerns of our time. Now, during this session, they said obesity accounts for nearly 10% of all annual medical spending in the U.S., and unless we do something to address the obesity epidemic, the cost and harm to public health will only continue to rise. That was from Representative Kind. So the Treat and Reduce Obesity Act of 2017 is a critical step in improving the overall health of our nation. The Obesity Society president, Dr. Levine, said, passing this act sends a powerful message to the American public that Washington understands what's at stake and is willing to invest in our health. Agreed. Too bad it took an act of Congress to recognize this epidemic. Now you see why I'm putting so much time and energy into health done right. It's story time. Allie Vincent's roller coaster ride. During the first show, I talked about Allie Vincent, the first female winner of the Biggest Loser contest in 2008, when she lost 40% of her weight through arduous arduous exercise and anorexic-like eating. And then I talked about her subsequent regain and her humiliation and shame, and we discussed why that was and how metabolism is affected for 6 years after the Biggest Loser contest, that the individual's metabolism stays down low. Then Allie reported that she had a sexual assault incident that she thought contributed to her weight regain. And in April of 2016, she reported on her Facebook page that she had joined Weight Watchers. I wasn't able to find any success or progress with Weight Watchers, but she did say, quote, I remember wondering before if I was unhappy because I was heavy or heavy because I was unhappy. Now, Allie, I think you're on to something. As babies, we rely on our caregivers to provide us with nutritional love. We equate love with nutrition. This is why later in life we might make eating a surrogate for that same unconditional love. There's a chemical component to this feeling. Sugars are powerful stimulants of the reward system in our brain. Sugar has even been compared to cocaine for how strongly it affects us. Obese people have learned maladaptive exercise and eating patterns that contribute to their size. Food should not be our father, our girlfriend, or our therapist. It should be pure nutrition. If you experience any of the situations such as depression or a history of sexual assault that contribute to your weight, you should get specific help in that category. In the meantime, show yourself some love and start Health Done Right. In future episodes, we'll discuss more about Allie and her plight. Recipe for Health. Medicine's premier reporter of evidence-based and peer-reviewed literature, Up to Date, reported in April of 2016 that fast foods are a way of life for many Americans, and eliminating fast food may be unrealistic, which is why Grocery to Go is on my meal plan, and also the Healthy Dining Out. Today's Healthy Dining Out is from Panera, and it's one of my favorite chain restaurants. They use fresh fruits and vegetables. They use olive oil, whole grains. I wish they wouldn't offer the 99-cent pastry at the end of your meal. And they've also taken out Splenda, and they only have Truvia. So Panera, can we please have our Splenda back? And please don't offer the pastry after I've ordered a Health Done Right meal. So today you're going to see a you pick two option. This is a very common combo. This is a half of a Greek salad with quinoa and half of a turkey sandwich. You have to specifically ask for the whole grain bread, and of course ask for the apple, and then have a unsweetened iced tea or an unsweetened coffee. So this combo is on the American Diabetic diet, check. American Heart Association diet, check. Health done right, you better believe it. Sometimes the perfect ending to a long, full week is chilling out with your friends at the local brewery or wine kitchen. Many Americans drink alcohol on special occasions. We know that alcohol has health benefits, especially if you drink it in moderation. Today's choice is a strawberry-mango margarita. Now, when I found this recipe, I, of course, had to make some modifications, but they had it layered, so the strawberry part and the mango part were layered, but I don't have time for all that. So it's the mango and the strawberry just thrown in together. This has whole fruit in it, as you can see. The alcohol level is low. They used a real sugar combo, and I substituted Splenda, and Splenda does well with cooking and baking, so you can substitute out sugar, table sugar, and get the sugar content down. So by putting these together, you can have a healthy beverage. The tequila and the triple sec are your alcohol. And you can serve this at your functions. So here's to your health done right. We're at the end of this week's Dr. Becky's Health Done Right show. Today I talked about how to control your inner tiger by sleeping well. I talked about how to help you burn calories more efficiently by using the HIIT program or the HIIT workout. 2 meals that you can get and have for your heart, for your brain, and for your weight. Ready to change your life? We're looking for some folks who are willing to try the complete Health Done Right program. Send us an email at drbecky'shealthdoneright@gmail.com and let us know that you're interested. Thanks for joining in. And until next week, same time, same place, here's to your health done right.